Craig Rucker, wide receiver. You're watching Live Sports Network.
MHU on three, 1, 2, 3.
MHU. Hi everyone, I'm Stuart Jolly along with head football coach Tim Clifton. Glad to have you as part of this broadcast. And Tim, you've planned for it over the summer. You've transitioned into a new field house at Lawrence Hill. It looked like, okay, we've got 3 months, and then we got 2 months, and then we got 1 month, and well, now it's going to be Saturday and football time for Lawrence Hill Lions on the road up at VMI. Familiar territory to you. I was looking at the press guide they sent out to the various media, and on the for those of you in our listening audience, those in the front page of the media that they've sent out, Mars Hill head football coach Tim Clifton is a former VMI assistant coach, served as quarterback coach from 1983-84 under VMI head coach Bob Thalman. He later served as offensive coordinator at Fairham College before taking the Mars Hill post. And talking about your winning here at Mars Hill, that's, you know, you get pretty good ink from the visiting team. That's a good thing, coach.
It was 2 good years. I enjoyed it.
Well, you made the front page of the media release. Either you're really good or glad to have you gone. One or the other.
Yeah. And I worked for a great guy there, Bob Thalman, who was the head coach there for 14 years and won several Southern Conference championships there. And the staff was a phenomenal staff. Former VMI player and Joe Bush, who was the offense coordinator that I worked with at that time, and then a close friend, Frank Mariota, was still in Lexington, that ended up being the head coach at Washington Lee University. So it was really a neat time then. And I was a lot younger then and didn't have children, but really enjoyed the town of Lexington, and I enjoyed VMI. I thought just unbelievable discipline, what those young people go through. And how they prepare themselves to go into the military. At that time, they had to give a 4-year commitment. So they had to go to a branch and then go for 4 years. And it was a privilege to coach there. I had a lot of fun there. And Bob Thalman was a great boss and a former Marine and fought at Iwo Jima. And so you learned a lot from him. And I also was about 3 inches taller than him, which was very unusual. So, but it was really a unique experience, and I really enjoyed my time in Lexington.
We talked about it briefly last week when you're building schedules and everything, and what a lot of institutions do, whether they're Division II or D1. A lot of them do what we've done the last few years, and then some, as long as I can remember. You put a team on your schedule that's up a division, or if you're within a division, a much bigger program. And tell us kind of the background behind that. What's some of the reasoning for doing that for your program?
Well, you do it for several reasons. One is budget. It helps with your budget, and VMI just played Marshall last week, so but it helps with your budget, and also gives you a chance for kids to play in a bigger arena against a division that's higher than they are, and gives you a chance to challenge another level. And I think it's really good that we get this opportunity, and we've done it every year. I think we've been here for maybe 2 years, I think, and some years we played too. One year we played Western and Chattanooga, and one year we played App. Back in the day, and boy, that was a mistake. But and that was in the heyday.
Yes, that's Michigan.
And it was Monty's first start, so they waited and started against us. So But you know, I think it's good for our kids to step up and play above us, and it also helps us get things for them that we want them to have as far as budgetary, and gives us a chance to help them in a lot of ways.
So at Foster Stadium, 1:30 coming up on this Saturday afternoon. Your team will travel up, I'm probably Friday evening, go up,
Yes.
spend overnight, and do some walkthroughs and everything. As you mentioned, VMI already has a game under the belt. It was, kind of tall water taking on the Thundering Herd of Marshall, but that allowed them to kind of, I guess, get the cobwebs off.
Yeah, I think you usually make, and it's not always true, but usually you make your biggest stride from the first game to second game. Because you got now a chance to look at things in the kicking game that you need to get fixed. You got protections on offense, you got coverages on defense that you can get fixed. And so usually you make your biggest stride from first game to second game. And so they have a little bit of advantage in that they have already played a game, and they've already gone through the substitutions, getting them on and off the field and running it out, the signals, what they had to fix in the signals. But now playing Marshall was a huge order for a lot of teams, not just VMI, but a lot of teams in the country, and they're so good on defense right now. It's a little bit scary, but I think VMI did a great job holding their own through the first half. They just ran out of gas, and they also, depth-wise, that's what happens to you when you play up, is depth.
Well, as we were talking off camera before we came on with this broadcast, maybe some similarities between VMI and Marsville in terms of new faces in maybe not familiar positions that we've seen them in. Obviously they may have played in that position before, but VMI's got, I was reading their pregame packet, they've got a lot of new people that, as you said, they've got some experience last week. And it sounds like, from what you and I were talking about, that we're going to have some new guys that are going to have to feel out for ourselves as to how things settle in, who settles in at various positions.
Yeah, I think we hadn't made a decision on quarterback yet, and but whichever one of those guys starts off, it'll be their first time starting. A couple of them have got college experience, but they've never taken a snap from Marshall. Except Arzua last year, Jimmy took some snaps during the season when Austin was injured, or when we got in the game ahead or got behind, we let him give Jimmy a chance to get some experience. But we do have some experience at some positions. I think our wideout position, we have a lot of experienced guys that have played a lot. And our defensive line, a lot of guys have played. And and I think we had a really good recruiting here at the defensive line position. And so I think we really helped ourselves there. I think VMI, the one thing they've got for them that I think is a huge advantage for them anytime they play right now is their quarterback. He has played a lot of games. He has thrown a lot of passes, and he has had a lot of success throwing the football there. And so I think, that'd be a challenge for us to try to get him slowed down, because they're going to throw it, they're going to check, they're going to look at what you're in, and then he's done it enough that he can find, even against Marshall, he found some holes in that thing and was able to get some people open and make some throws. And the thing that Marshall was able to do that we're going to have to be able to do is we're going to have to get him on the ground. We're going to have to be able to get some pressure from our front four. And Marshall was able to get pressure with their front four, but we've got to disrupt him and keep him from making the quick throws and being accurate on the quick throws. And then he can throw it down the field. He has a great arm, but he is really good at looking at the defense and checking, and then knowing where the openings are.
Looking at some of the stats from last week with them, it looks like Mike Leach will be happy, because they looks like they run kind of a form of the air raid.
Yeah,
it's just being
it's just throw. Every once in a while makes a run in to keep you honest, but
Which is kind of a contrast to what we're known for over the years,
Yeah.
is that we'll run the ball, and every now and then we'll toss one downfield, and hey, there you go, folks.
Yeah.
Keeps everybody honest.
Yeah, and then, the last 2 years, we just had really good receivers, and, but we want to run the football, and then work everything off the run. Because I feel like if you can make them play to run and fill the box, and you can run it, then you can take your chances when you want to take your chances and take the choices you want throwing the football. They're just opposite. They don't throw it till you get out there and keep chasing, then they'll switch it with a run, so. But their scheme is really strong, and then defensively, they just try to confuse you. They're a three-man front, but they do so many things, and those guys, those guys are so intelligent that they're coaching that they can get them in a lot of things and move them around and come from different spots and different blitzes and flip guys over and know where to blitz from. I mean, they just, and they're so disciplined in what they do because of the military and what they go through every day there at VMI. So I think they found a scheme, and toward the end of last year, they're playing everybody in that Southern Conference. Them and Western had a great game, and they played several teams in overtime. I just think they have found a scheme that matches their kids. And then a few years ago it was a wishbone. They ran ahead to match their kids. Now what they've done is they found a scheme that with the kids they're gonna bring in there, that they can get to come there. They got a scheme that they can execute on offense and defense. Confusion, try to confuse you on offense, while they're on defense, they try to confuse you. And then offensively, they try to throw the ball like Leach and those guys, short throws, and just control the football throwing.
In terms of, and I know early on, we haven't seen what anybody else in the league is running, but you and I have been around this league long enough to know pretty much who's doing what year in and year out. That said, playing a team like VMI, which sounds like they fine-tune that mixture of offense and defense, sounds like that's going to be really beneficial to Mars Hill as the season develops.
Well, I think we'll see about every kind of combination blitz. We'll see that'll definitely happen to us compared to down the road. I think that'll help us get ready for some of the things we'll see down the road. Offensively, they're a lot like Tusculum was 10, 12 years ago. Where they throw it every down. If you remember, Dieter Brock was at Tusculum, that former NFL guy, and they threw it every down.
Sure
and the scheme was, and he just waited till you lined up, and then he made the call. And he was ahead of the curve back in those days.
Really
Frankie and Buskin, and way ahead of the curve throwing the ball. Well, VMI's in that curve there. They just embraced that and added to it. And so offensively, it's just, whatever you do, we know where the weakness is in that, and we're going to throw it to the spot that you can't get to. And that's what they do.
So an opportunity for a lot of positive takeaways for our team.
Yeah, I mean, and if we can make some adjustments, because there's going to be adjustments on the run. If we can make those adjustments, then make adjustments on offense to how they're trying to play the run and the pass for us. I think there's going to be a lot of adjustments that we have to make on both sides of the ball.
You are listening to the Mars Hill Coaches Show. We'll be back with more right after this.
Mars Hill University, helping you move your mountain.
Mars Hill University gives me plenty of degrees to choose from.
At MHU, I get the attention I deserve.
MHU keeps me close to home, and there's tons to do in the mountains.
Over 60 courses of study, small class settings, a breathtaking campus. These are just a few examples of how MHU can help you start moving your mountain. Visit us today at mhu.edu. Mars Hill University, education that moves mountains.
Welcome back, Stuart Jolly and Tim Clifton. Coach, I was looking over some more of their stats about what VMI's been doing the last few years, and here we are, a South Atlantic Conference team. We're not new to them to any degree at all in this league, because looking back, They've taken on the Pioneers of Tusculum, winning against them last year 20-11, and the year prior to that, Catawba beat them 27-20. So they're very familiar with our league.
Yeah, they are, and it just shows you how they've improved in the last couple of years. You know, Catawba was able to beat them, and then last year they were able to beat Tusculum, and who we lost to last year, you know, in a close game. So, and they beat Tusculum in a close game. So they're familiar with our league, and they're familiar with you know, the talent and the speed that people in our league have, because both those teams, Catawba and Tusculum, can run. They always have guys that can run. So they're familiar with us, and we're familiar. I mean, we played Southern Conference teams before. We played ETSU last year. It was a great game and a great battle, you know. So, and we just gotta be prepared to play, you know, 60 minutes, you know, on Saturday.
Some familiar names to our audience. Craig Rucker Sr., coming out of Orlando, Florida, back with us. My goodness, the accolades over and over and over again for this young man. Preseason this, preseason that, and you know, it's just, I've said it before, G, I'll say it again. It amazes me that we bring these, and they're humble people. I mean, they're the type individuals you want to be around. And they come here and they just light things up. So talk with us a little bit about Craig, the role you see for him this year.
Well, the people will take the approach that people started taking at the end of last year, where we're going to try to keep him from beating us. You know, everybody who plays is going to say, how do we take him out of the game? And how do we keep him out, you know, keep the ball away from him and keep him out of the game. And you have to work each week to find ways to get him the football. Because everybody's going to know where he is. They're going to know, and he has great speed, and if he gets in space, he's really hard to get on the ground. And then if he gets a step, you know, it's usually over. If he gets in a crease and gets a step, and you know, he's had a really good camp. He stayed here all summer and worked out and ran and lifted, and was even part of the crew that helped on campus, cleaning the campus and everything. And but he's just got a lot of talent, and we had an NFL team in here yesterday visiting with him, and that are interested. So he's got a lot of ability, and we just want him to continue to get better. You know, you try to lead them in an area that they know that you know, you either get better or you get worse. You don't remain the same.
D2football.com preseason All-American first team. So again, he's going to be right in the thick of things. That young man stays healthy for us. Tyler Ferguson, wide receiver from Sweetwater, Tennessee, played coming out of, if I remember correctly, that's Loudoun County High School.
Yes.
Good territory over there, out down I-75. Last year, 39 catches, 533 yards. Should we see more of that man this year?
Yeah, I think he's come into his own, and he has worked extremely hard. He redshirted his first year and played just a little bit the next year, but he has really just blossomed into a really good football player, and does a great job, helps lead this team and works at it, and has had a really good fall camp. I think you'll see a lot of him as the year goes, and we're going to have to rely on him to take some pressure off Rucker.
Now, on the defensive side of things, briefly here, Earl Adams, and it's like seemingly every time I turned around last year, I would say Earl Adams this, Earl Adams that on various stops. 36 tackles, 25 were solo, 10 tackles for loss, 1 fumble recovery last year for the Mountain Lions. Out of Clayton, North Carolina, Corinth Holders High School product, so he his folks and crew, I'm sure, getting ready to back down hatches as it gets a little bit wet down the eastern part of the state. But a familiar individual on defense. Hopefully he's going to spell trouble for the Keydets on Saturday.
Yeah, I think he's really a talented football player. Is he a senior now? Is that
He's a junior. He is a junior.
It seems like he's been here forever.
At least as long as we have.
Yeah, he started since he was a freshman, and he has had to play so many games and so many downs. I mean, we had last year we lost our defensive ends and who were alternating, and we're going to keep them fresh. We were excited about keeping 3 of those guys fresh, and next thing you know, you only have 2, and there's not any rotation, and Earl's playing every down, and he's every time you look up, he's in there. You can't get him out of the game, and you're trying to find a way to rest him, but
and then he's always like, "I got this guy,"
Yeah.
and then you from up in the box, you're like, "Does he never rest?"
It seems like he's played here 5 years now, and I'm glad he's got 2 more.
Yes, sir.
And his dad and mom always do a barbecue the last scrimmage in the fall, and they did a great job with a barbecue again this year. So, but Earl is not only a good football player, but he works extremely hard in practice, and he is a quiet leader. Does a good job of leading, but he don't say a whole lot, but he leads by example.
And yes, he does. You do not want to be on the other side of the football against that young man. Carl Robert Joe, a senior defensive back out of Homestead, Florida. Part of that really continued connection the Lion football program has had under you, that we get a good flow of good young men coming out of Florida. Last year, 76 tackles, 46 for solo, 1 tackle for loss, 3 interceptions. Let's talk a little bit about Carl.
Well, Carl, we tried to get him out of high school, and something didn't work out, and he ended up going to junior college and played at junior college, and then coming here. And right now we probably have 3 from right down there, and from that area, and Clarence is from down there, and Coward, and Gilbert Johnson's from down there, and then Carl is from down there. So, and there's been times we've had 7 or 8 guys from down that way, and we started it years ago with an alum from down there, Carlos Cespedes, who was a player here years ago, and then a high school coach down there for so long, and retired a few years ago, but he helped us start bringing those guys in from down there, and we've just been able to keep that gate open. And but now Carl, he was like Rucker. He stayed here all summer. He went to summer school, helped work on the grounds here, and then worked extremely hard. Is a lot stronger than he was a year ago. Looks physically a lot better than he did a year ago, and I'm really proud of how hard he has worked. He's just worked extremely hard in fall camp, and we're looking for him to really have a good year. And he is just bought into this program, and what's exciting is to watch a guy come in from junior college, and then he ends up being nothing but a Lion, and he bleeds blue and gold, and everything's about being a Lion. He's just a guy that you wished you had. You wish they had 95 to 100 guys that believe just like he believes. But I think he's going to have a really good year. We're excited for him.
Now, those are some of the familiar names. Now, you've seen more of these other individuals than I have. You've been out in the practice field with them. Let's talk a little bit about some names that are going to become, we hope, very common around Lion Country.
Well, I think Travis James, our left offensive tackle, is as fine an offensive lineman that there is in this conference. He was all conference last year, but he is really a good football player. He's a tackle that has tight end ability. I mean, he won our dunk contest in the spring, and he has phenomenal ability, but he is really a true left offensive tackle. And then Michael Foster, who's been here as a senior at guard, right guard, he's paid his dues, and he's going to play a lot of snaps for us. And Tyson Nelson, who started as a freshman at tight end, I think he's going to have, I think, a really good year. And then, on defense, you got, as you said, Earl and R.J. Asabi, who's played a lot of downs, and then we signed several guys that I think can really help us up front. And then I think Nigel Bowden, who we brought in, who was at Vanderbilt, is in graduate school here. He's had a phenomenal camp at linebacker, and so I think those guys are really going to help us. And we've got some young guys that are going to have to play. We're going to have to play a lot of young guys, because depth-wise, that's where we are. Is we're going to play a lot of linebackers and a lot of defensive linemen and roll them and see what they can do. And and Tyler Sims, who was out all last year with the injury at defensive end, he was Earl's counterpart. He was out all year. Keon Caesar played a lot, and now we got Sims back, so we've got a little bit of rotation there. And Sims is really was having a great. He had a great game against ETSU, and he got hurt first quarter against Shaw. So we're excited about him coming back, and I think he'll really help us on the edge. He'll offset Earl on the other side. So we're excited about him being able to come back and play after a bad knee injury.
Looking at a couple of kind of off of the normal stats type things, but kind of spoke to some issues that are some common themes between VMI and Mars Hill. We'll be playing on their field there at Foster Stadium. It's supposed to have brand new turf, and we're looking forward to that for next year. So I thought, let's going to give our players kind of a heads up of this is what's coming, ladies and gentlemen. But so that'll have a little bit different traction feel to it than what we're used to out here.
Yeah, if it's anytime it's new. I mean, last year when we played at Limestone, that turf was brand new, and it was a different texture. It had cork in it instead of tires. So evidently Rucker liked it, because
He sure did.
he evidently liked that kind of turf.
And if you've been in Limestone, if everyone's been there or anywhere in upstate South Carolina, there's a reason they went with cork instead of the rubber.
Yeah, because it was so hot.
It was warm.
It was, whew. And I think I've talked to our guys about the environment at VMI. It's a different environment than we'll be used to playing in. It's going to be loud. A&T a few years ago was loud, and it was the band and then our fans. But VMI will come marching in right before the game. They'll march in there, and then their first-year guys that they call rats will come marching in with them. They'll stand the whole game, and they'll yell the whole game. They won't sit down. They can't sit down unless they change their game day policy. When we were there, they never got to sit down. They were screaming and yelling the whole time. And the cannon goes off. So it's really a great atmosphere to play a college football game. It'll be packed. It'll be loud. There'll be a lot of pageantry going on. People, they'll have parade on parade ground before the game, and their alums will be back for that. And it's really a spectacle to watch. So any of our fans that are going, before they come in the stadium, they ought to go and walk around VMI and go to the...
It's a beautiful campus.
Yeah, and go to the parade grounds there and watch the parade and watch them march, and then Washington Lee University connects to it. So you can walk on one campus and be on the next, just like that. And it's a beautiful area. So, but it's the game day festivities is fantastic. And it'll be great for our guys because they won't see another game day like that this year as far as the festivities before the game.
Speaking of game day festivities, coming up next Saturday, we will be here in the friendly confines of Mirror Stadium. Local Lion Day, as we are calling it. We're going to fill the hill, so to speak, and try to get as many people in here as we can. If you have a young person through grade 8, they're going to get in free from Madison and Buncombe and Yancey counties. And then for anybody else in the family, we're going to be doing the high school admission price, which is $7, and that's something that we're really pushing. You and I have talked many times that there's no reason we can't fill this place up on a regular basis, and why not start next Saturday?
That's right. That's exactly right.
One other bit of thing that just caught my eye and looking through some of their numbers was on their coaching staff, and this was kind of a juxtaposed to what we have with our coaching staff. They're going to have 8 new members on their VMI coaching staff this year. And one of the reasons we're consistently in the thick of competition is we don't have that turnover. You've got some very familiar faces on your coaching staff. Is that nature of the beast at that level? Or, you know, what are the challenges, I guess, what are the benefits from having that veteran staff like you do versus for them, not only probably new players, but they're having to learn new faces from the coaching end too?
Well, I think we've just been fortunate over the years that Kevin Barnett and Chuck Pfeiffer and Jonathan Surratt, that those guys have stayed here, you know, and Tom Weaver retired at the end of last year, but we were just fortunate those guys have stayed a long time, and then be able to bring one of your former players, Joe Hill, and that was part of us, and then be able to bring Thomas Reese back a year ago, and who grew up here and knows this area, knows this place. That's given us a chance to know each other and work together, and to be able to to share with each other every day and work together, because you spend so many hours together, you know, and then Luke Goodwin came in the spring, you know, but it's coaching is it's hard enough, you know, on your families, and to be able to coexist and work the hours we work and still remain close friends, and we've been together a lot longer than a lot of marriages have been.
Absolutely.
You know, and I know what going through VMI, when I went to VMI at the time, we went to spring practice. There was 4 new coaches on the staff. Now, if they've got 8 new members, we don't even have that many coaches. You know, you'd like to have
that. Tells you something, right?
Yeah, we'd like to have that many coaches, you know. But when we went in there were 4 new guys. We got down on a Sunday night. We started spring practice on Monday. So I had a day. We had 2 of us had a day to try to prepare the coach.
Acclimate yourself.
Yeah. And but it's you know, college football turns over. If you can keep it from turning over, it usually you have success, but you also have a chance to build alumni relations, and you get to see people come back and watch them with their families. So you know, and then sometimes a new staff, you know, I thought they did a great job preparing for Marshall, because that was really a tough chore for them, and they're going to be well coached, that's for sure. And we just can't make a whole lot of mistakes. Last year we made a couple of mistakes early in the first game, or really toward the end of the first half. We made a mistake, and we had a touchdown call back, but then we had a punt blocked. And those are the things we've got to keep from happening because of their experience and already played. We got to make sure we take care of the kicking game.
Well, we look forward to coming back with you next week and talking about the VMI game. Again, a couple of reminders for the listening audience, those that are tuned in watching this coaching show. Fill the hill, Local Lion Day coming up next Saturday here at Mears Stadium. There's information on the Marsville University athletic website for that. So be sure to look out for that information and come join and have a really good experience. The other thing, Coach talked about our relation with alumni. We've just launched the Lions Athletic Club, which is a totally new, revamped version of our Boosters Club. So if you want more information on that, that's also on the website. Reach out to us. We're excited about it.
And remind everybody that this game is on ESPN 3. They can pull up the VMI game on ESPN 3.
And see the whole thing, and you can turn down the sound because Adam Williams and Stuart Jolly going to have the call on our live stream. So
I like that. Just turn the sound down and listen to y'all.
it'll work for Woody Durham. I can go with it. Thank you for being a part of us. To our friends and our families down the eastern part of all of our states, please be safe. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. We'll be back next week and talk more Lion football. For Tim Clifton, I'm Stuart Jolly. So long for now.
I'm Tyler Ferguson. I play wide receiver, and you're watching Lion Sports Network. Hey, MHU on 3. 1, 2, 3.
MHU.